Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Jamie, and this will be a reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So I'm doing a little deal this week on 3-question readings. There's 2 different price points. One is for new clients, and then for my pre-existing clients there'll be a whole different price point. You can check that out on my post page. Feel free to subscribe. If you want to become a member, you can just click where it says join. It'll show you everything I do over there. If you need to book a personal, that information is in the description. Let's see what's going on with Cancer. That was quick. Okay. So the overall energy here is the High Priestess. This is Cancer Pisces energy. We have the Empress, Libra Taurus energy, the 7 of Swords, the Lovers in the reverse, Gemini energy. The Fool, Aquarius energy, the 2 of Wands, the 10 of Swords in the reverse. Queen of Swords also popped out here. And at the bottom of the deck, the 9 of Cups. In the Oracle, we have deep roots. My roots run deep. I stand tall with my feet planted on the earth. I breathe energy in from my roots to the tips of my outstretched fingers. I exhale any negativity. I am grounded. Somebody has something sitting on their whole soul. Someone has a lot of knowledge through an experience that they don't talk about, because this experience, it seems, kind of could have been traumatic. It's still something that's a very real pain in their life that they have not. I think they think in their lifetime they will never get over. It doesn't matter if they went through a ton of therapy. This is like a true traumatic event that someone experienced, and as a way to protect themselves, they sort of just don't speak on it. So with that being said, it doesn't mean that someone doesn't have strong emotions based upon it. So there could be some event happening that's a little bit triggering. And although you would like to speak your truth or say something on the matter, you've already learned the hard way that you can't change a perspective. So I'm not sure what exactly is happening here, but the you that doesn't speak on something, the you that won't correct somebody with something, the you that there's a piece of you that you will always keep sacredly to yourself. And whatever this is that happened made you view the world in a very honest way. Like I said, you know the truth, but you also know the truth is very hard for some people to handle. And so you let them have their own experience of the truth, their own opinion, without arguing against it. There's something about your discernment being based off of, again, another experience. It would be like you experienced something traumatic at some point in time. You tried to explain a perspective from that experience. It wasn't actually honored. And you've learned that for your own benefit, it's really not best to try to disrupt somebody else's peaceful lie or an ignorant truth that they want to believe, even though it's not the full truth. There is something here with discernment and feeling like words cannot change a person's perspective. They would have to experience it themselves for them to fully grasp what it is that they're talking about, and therefore not condemning them for it. So there's something here where it's like something's triggering, but you are so grounded at this point and have worked through something so well that you're not going to let someone else disrupt your peace with their ignorant ass thoughts or ideas about something. It's really interesting. I like it because it's someone who's intelligent enough to know it's a choice. Do I choose to become further triggered, let somebody hurt me with what they think is the truth, with a point that they'll argue even if they're just dead wrong, versus do I just accept their truth as their truth and just move on from it without, taking any pain from it? I just think it's really interesting here because it's like this is a part of you that's grown. Maybe in the past you weren't able to handle that. You would get triggered and just fired up and get really emotional. And it just didn't get you anywhere, though. But there is something here where it's like somebody experienced something in life and they know the truth about a situation that somebody else is talking about or they think they know something about these days. There's a part of whoever this person is where they are deeply happy that the person who's saying the things that they're saying doesn't have to ever experience this truth. They don't have to know. That their ignorance really, truly is bliss. And that they're not going to take that from them. And that knowledge, that power is insane. There's something about being very deeply rooted in your truth and you know exactly what it is. But I feel like there is actually satisfaction in your knowing that someone else doesn't have to experience something like that, and therefore they can just have an opinion without having to really know. I like that. It's interesting. So why is this coming up? Oh. Okay. Like, I like how someone feels like it's better for someone to be foolish in their innocence than know this cold, hard truth that probably would deplete their idea of any innocence in the world or something like that. It's really crazy. Okay, so we have the Three of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Knight of Wands. The World, Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus energy, the Emperor, Aries energy, and the Ace of Swords. And at the bottom of the deck, the Nine of Swords. It seems that actually there could be a lot of talk about a specific, I don't know what this is. There's a specific situation here where a lot of people are talking about it, but they don't know the truth. They're just talking. Because I'm getting like, this is like a whole discussion between like friends, or you're just seeing this everywhere today. There's a hot topic. I feel like it's just gradually gaining attention. It's something where a lot of people are getting attention on a specific topic, but they don't even have to have the facts straight or something. That's what's going on. Maybe you're going to be dealing with that this week. It's trying to let you know, like, all this growing that you've done, this changing where you've decided that you aren't going to let other people's opinions like really get to you. It's going to be put to the test because somebody's going to be foolish here. They think they know the truth about something when they don't. They'll argue till the end of them, because they're not actually looking for the truth. They're looking for attention. Someone has an agenda and they're going to try to push it. And even though you know the truth, I think you're going to have to figure out, it's like, I think you mostly prefer to maybe listen to other people's perspectives, but not attempt to change them. This is saying instead of doing that this time, you may have to change your perspective. Because you may think that they're speaking out of wanting attention or wanting to fuel something or because they have an agenda. But actually, this is somebody who's terrified. Somebody's terrified. They don't really know what's happening. They feel very strongly against something, but they don't actually know. So this is saying that actually this is an opportunity for you to really help someone to see the truth instead of keeping it to yourself, to go ahead and speak about an experience that you had that you don't like to bring up. Just bringing up the fact that you did experience it would already shake whoever you're talking to the core. They'd be like, because they're not talking to those types of people. They could be, getting their information from nonsense. They don't really understand the gravity of what they're talking about. And like I said, I think somebody for their own safety and well-being tends to just avoid tough conversations with people or to just let people have their opinion without trying to refocus it. It's suggesting that somebody here, and this is a King of Swords energy, male or female, as you can see, a king is, this is clearly a woman in this image, even though it says King of Swords. And that's just how this deck works anyway. They're actually looking for truth. Despite, so it's like this is somebody where they just are misguided or they have the wrong information. This is not somebody who would argue with you or take it further. I think that you're used to people who just want to win an argument. They wouldn't be willing to debate something or see something from someone's point of view, no matter where they got this, this point of view from. This is not this person. It may be really important for you to actually have this conversation with this person because one is they have a lot of eyes on them. They could be setting themselves up for an attack, or they really are just scared of something. They're terrified of something here, and you have the ability to really correct this so that they don't fear so much, but also that there's something about your perspective having validity because you've been through something like whatever is being spoken on, if that makes sense. This is an interesting reading for me. This is saying instead of holding your silence, with some people, they're not actually grounded or rooted in reality. They're kind of grabbing information from wherever and out of fear, and you can actually correct their mentality with this. You can, because someone, it's like there's something going on with someone where like they actually need, I think, everything to be shaken up so that they can change their viewpoint about something because, it's like, they're just not an ignorant person. They're a misinformed person. That's what's going on here. So you have the ability to really change someone's perspective, really help them really quickly to figure out like what they're talking about. And it suggests you should do that instead. That's all I'm saying here, because I think that, you know, they're being fed some type of information, but it's not completely accurate. You know, it's like somebody here has a lot more than the other person, but the other person might be trying to speak on it a lot, or they feel like, what's interesting is I feel like this person's very passionate. They're actually terrified about something happening here, and I think that's kind of the point of whatever they're looking at, wherever they're getting this information from. Is, you know, it's like fear-based. Okay. The Hanged Man, Pisces energy, the Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, the King of Wands at the bottom. There's something about the fact that this person does get attention, where if you change their perspective slowly over time, they'll help other people to see what they can't. This person, whoever it is that's like triggering you and you're like, oh, I'm going to leave this alone because it's going to piss me off. They actually are capable of truly like listening to another perspective. It's important that you give yours here with its validity. I think that this person, you know, I think they get a lot of attention. There are a lot of people paying attention to them. And if they have the correct information, they'll give it in a good way. It's important to change this person's perspective. They actually don't know they're wrong. They are really, like, scared, you know. This seems like something big. It could be like something political where people are, like, all of a sudden terrified of something that is happening because of media. You know, and the things that are being shared about it or something, you know, and it's like, you know, you can maybe change the mind of a whole group of people or change the mind of a very specific person here who is misguided. But it's going to take a lot from you. You're going to have to, you know, step past your own sort of like triggered energy and breathe and understand that somebody, while what they're saying may be incorrect or ignorant, is actually coming, like they really have the best of intentions. They're just terrified of something. They're trying to talk about it. So you have that coming up for you soon. And I think this will be awesome for everybody. All right. I'll see you soon.